Alright, so what?
It's a subtle one. It's not
Right, I know. Alright, so the Gemara is on Chaf Av Amud Aleph in Succa. So the Gemara says, so Tanya, alright, Amar Rav Chananya ben Akavia, Kosvei Svarim Tefillin Mezuzos. So if a guy's a sofer, okay, since everyone prepared, this should be really quick, right? Hain v'tigran v'tigran the chol ha'oskim lecha shemayim. So all these people, okay, anyone who's involved in holy work, heavenly labor, okay, any one of these people is pater from mitzvah. When they're asak in that, they're pater from mitzvah. So the Gemara says la'asuye mochrei tcheles, okay, and this comes to include the case of mochrei tcheles, and those guys are pater from kriyas shema mitzvah and mitzvah kol mitzvah mor Torah. L'kayim divrei Rav Yossi Glili shaya Rav Yossi Glili Omer ha'osik mitzvah pater min mitzvah. Okay. Now Rashi's not much help here because Rashi just explains who are the Tigrayan, how lochin mehen k'dei limkor ulamsian litzarach lahem, which basically means they're middlemen. Right? These guys are taking from one distributor to another distributor. Okay, and then tchela and mochrei tcheles means those who sell tzitzis. So we have a very strange thing here because if you look at this, and I think this is exactly what the issue is. First, the Gemara says, forget mochrei tcheles. Let's focus on this first. Okay. So the Gemara says, the Gemara brings this case in. The Gemara brings a case in and says, Sofrim are pater. So the question you have to ask on that is that, why would you think someone who writes a Sefer Torah, or Tefillin, or whatever, right, why would you think they are considered...
No, see, why are they pater?
Well, what would you think?
The question is, why are they pater mitzvah?
Because what would you think?
What is the mitzvah?
Because they're not
osik mitzvah.
Okay, so if you're saying that, there's a premise that's built into that statement, which is...
Osik mitzvah means, in and of itself, you're osik in mitzvah.
Which means you literally took the word and
added. I added.
No,
very crucial.
asuk mitzvah would mean what then?
You're actually doing the.
Thank you. So obviously,
I literally should shoot all of you like the Sandy Hook school shooting. This is ridiculous.
Okay, so obviously, what that means is that asuk must mean.
I only accept that because the alliteration.
Maisa mitzvah, right? Yeah. The Gemara says that it's not a maisa mitzvah; it's expanding the category of what asuk means. Okay, it's expanding that category. So if it's expanding it, what are these guys in relation to mitzvah?
Agents.
Meaning what?
Necessary.
Okay, good.
Leading
Necessary agents. That's good. What is that called halachically?
Oh no, but I was going to say enablers.
Okay, so what's that called halachically? And halachically you have what? Shliach? No, shliach's a messenger.
Oh.
There's a category of this phenomenon. By the way, just to make you got the svara. Okay, now let's make it, but let's give the halachic term for it. These guys are basically hachsher mitzvah. Why are they hachsher mitzvah? Because you need tefillin. And what do these guys do? They provide for it. In this case, it means providing for the mitzvah. But categorically, hachsher mitzvah means categorically.
We said it 2 weeks ago. Hachsher gufa. What is that? I thought this means kosher.
No. Hachsher mitzvah means preparation for the mitzvah. Right. But here, like preparation for it. So like for example, I make matzah.
I'm reducting. You said we use hechsher with Rabban and Karen. It means something different now.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
That's what you mean fit.
That means fit. But here, right. This means this is a little bit different. This means that which is preparing for the mitzvah. So what I'm saying is that category would include these guys. In other words, it's expanding asuk to include not just ma'aseh mitzvah, but even a hechsher mitzvah.
Yeah, let's get accurate. Who are the guys here?
Anyone who's involved in lecha shemayim.
Relax. No, because we're going to get there. The Gemara says those guys and their ages. The Gemara is very.
And then the Gemara says.
No, but I want to handle.
If you're because the Gemara is telling you if in some way you are a participant in hachsher mitzvah, you're considered asuk mitzvah. If in some way you're a participant in bringing about the mitzvah, you're considered asuk. That's it.
Anyway.
So that's hachsher mitzvah. Okay. So that's the case. Okay.
No, again, there's probably
just to be medayik, just to add one point here, which is important. In other words, it's not just ma'aseh mitzvah, but you would think that it's those who are chayiv in the ma'aseh mitzvah. In other words, this is hachsher mitzvah because these guys aren't chayiv to be writing tefillin and mezuzah.
Right. They're not making tefillos for themselves. They're already
correct. So what's mochrei now? That the next move is going to have to derive from this, but it's not a huge move.
It's very weak.
In this case here, even the sigrei to sigreihan, those guys, right? They're always in the market for what? What are they selling?
The actual chatzah.
Exactly. But here, you're not selling the chatzah, you're selling that which is used for the mitzvah. Thank you. It's another degree removed. That's the chiddush. No, but look at it works categorically. In other words, first you establish hachsher mitzvah. And then within Hechsher Mitzvah, you qualify that by saying, even if it's not Hechsher of that Chefsa Mitzvah, even if it's Hechsher for something you're going to use for the Mitzvah, even that's considered to be considered a Asik Mitzvah.
Necessary element of the
Right. In other words, the guy's Mochrei Tzitzis, he's Mochrei Tchilas, right? So he's not even selling a mitzvah, he's selling that which is used to, right. So even that's included in Hechsher Mitzvah. So that's 1 degree, right? That's 1 degree removed from this. Okay?
So it's like one wrong.
Right, exactly. But it's like, you gotta think, like, exactly, conceptually. It's like, you have the main idea, and then even that is included. It's like 1 degree removed.
To be honest, I like what I was saying.
Alright, so now we're gonna take up, now this is gonna take us a few days. We're gonna take up the category of Holchei Derachim. Alright?
A few days?
Yeah.
Sorry,
A couple shirim.
No, what? I guess it's on track.
So now we're gonna take up the case of Holchei Derachim. Okay, so what is a Holchei Derach? Let's just first
On the way to do a mitzvah.
No, that's Shluchei Mitzvah.
Just on the way.
On the way to do what?
Whatever.
So okay, so let's establish that first. So the Gemara says, the next case, the Gemara says Tanar Banan. Holchei. Now this actually has a tremendous practical significance. No, that's Shluchei Mitzvah. This is a mitzvah. Holchei Derachim. Okay, Holchei Derachim b'yom term in a sukkah b'yom v'chayavim b'layla. Holchei Derachim b'layla term in a sukkah b'layla v'chayavim b'yom. Holchei Derachim b'yom v'layla term in a sukkah b'yom v'layla.
Well, I just got
Okay, so I'll explain what it is in a second. Okay, so the Gemara says like this. The Gemara says Holchei Derachim. Okay, as long as you are traveling. Okay, pater missukkah. Okay, that's what you have to know. So as long as you're traveling, you're pater from sukkah. But if I stop for the night, when I stop for the night, right? The Gemara says chayavim b'sukkah. Okay, is that clear? So if I'm going on the road now, who's going on the road? So Rashi immediately says,
I don't want to carry like a whole sukkah on your back.
well, hold on, we'll get to that. All right, that's going to be big. That's big. Says Rashi says, question is, why would this guy be pater? So first of all, who is a Holchei Derach, and why would he be pater? So Rashi says, Dichsev b'sukkot teishvu, right? Ke'ein yeshivas beisa. That's the idea of teishvu ke'ein teduru. In other words, when it says to live in a sukkah, right? You live there like you live in your house, right? Kishem shekol hashana eino nimna mileches b'derech schora, right? So just like during the year, right? There's nothing preventing me from going to work. In other words, my living in my house there's no preventing factor. There's not an impediment for me going to work. Okay, so he says, "Kach kol yemos hachag she'eno yom tov lo yitzricho kasav l'noah." So too, all the other days of the Chag, because you can't obviously not going to work on Yom Tov, right? This is Chol Hamoed. All right. Well, I'll take up an issue about Chol Hamoed in a second about working, but Rashi's saying, so too during Chol Hamoed when I have to go to work. Okay.
So there's no.
The fact that I'm Chayiv in Sukkah can't be an impediment in me going to work. Okay.
There's no Holchei Derachim.
Right. Rashi's saying, if you are Chayiv in Sukkah when you're going to work, if you're going to be Chayiv, that would be a violation of Teishvu Ke'ein Teduru. Okay. Violates.
Because it's holding you back.
Okay, but the question is, how is this possibly? Here's the first question you have to ask is, how is this a violation of Teishvu Ke'ein Teduru?
Because when you go to work in the car,
if you go down that road, you're going to have one big problem, which is that how is an expression of living, because that's Teishvu Ke'ein Teduru.
Yeah.
You live in a sukkah like you live in your house. That's problem. How is an expression of living expressed through the ability of me to leave my house? How is that an expression of yeshiva? That's the question you have to answer.
In your house.
Hold on. We're not ready to answer yet. That's one question.
You don't work in your house. You work usually outside.
Right, but what does that do with yeshiva? Notice I could come up with a very good counter argument to say. No, backtrack. No, I want to make sure the facts are clear. Rashi says on the surface makes absolutely no sense. Okay, because what's Rashi saying? Rashi's saying that. Again, I'll draw it out. Rashi says this. Rashi says, when I'm in my house, right, I go to work, right? So he says, if I live in my sukkah, I have to go to work also, right? If
he says live in a, which one comes first? He says live in a sukkah, you live in your house, live in your house, you live in your sukkah. Live in your sukkah as you do in your house. That's what he says, right?
The Torah says Teishvu Ke'ein Teduru.
Well, you live in the sukkah as you live in your house.
Right. So now, in my house, there's nothing in my house that prevents me from going to work, right? I go to work every day.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You have to start explaining that now. But let's
You say like this. When you live in your house, you go to work.
So let me right.
You live in Succa, you go to work.
Right. So that's but why is that a good start? What does that mean though? Because let me ask you a question. So what? So just because I go to work, why should I create a tour in Sukkah? That's the question you have to ask. Why is it that?
Does Rashi say there's no Patur?
No, Rashi agrees it's a Patur.
Oh,
my question is, why would there be a Patur? The Gemara says it's your Patur. Why? That's one question. One question has to be answered is, what is Rashi talking about? Question one, okay? What's question two? Which I don't think we'll get to today. Question two is...
What does Rashi stand for?
No one picked up on it. What's the second question? What's the second question, Yaakov?
What?
What's the second question on this?
What?
You always know.
This.
Allah.
It's a private night.
Sleeping?
What does that mean?
Oh.
What does it mean that you're... If I stop at the Hilton...
What extent are you?
What? Yeah.
Sense?
What does that mean that you're chayiv in Sukkah? What does it mean you're chayiv in Sukkah? What does that mean? What would you say that means?
What?
What?
What does Sukkah normally mean anyway?
Oh, I'll tell you a second. So everybody's going with the easy shot. The easy shot is... Oh, I'll tell you what it is. If I get to the hotel, right?
You gotta sleep in the hotel.
In the Sukkah there, right?
Or do you
What is...
follow your-
No, back
Right?
back-
In other words...
One sec. What does chayiv in Sukkah normally mean? You're chayiv in all things Sukkah.
Well, I'm
Is that what chayiv in Sukkah means?
I'm trying to find out right now. That's what we're trying to investigate. In other words,
So wait,
You're
sorry.
high as Rashi.
Chiyav Sukkah. It's very simple. If I stay at the Hilton and there's a Sukkah there, right? I have to go... At nighttime, you're chayiv to sleep in the Sukkah. Now, it's nighttime, I get to the Hilton and there's a Sukkah there. So of course, obviously chayiv is going to have to mean I have to sleep in the Sukkah. But what else could chiyav mean?
You gotta eat the Sukkah.
No.
Please read Tosos.
No, not yet.
Should I say it?
Yeah.
You have to go on Bill Johnson.
Right. Who says you don't have to build your own Sukkah? Let's say there's no Sukkah in the Hilton. There's no Sukkah at the hotel. Now what?
Oh, you asked it the wrong way. You said if there was a good kasha.
Right. What does chiyav mean? Does it mean if there's no Sukkah,
Can you tell us, Rabbi Akiva Eger's kasha one time?
if there is no Sukkah, do I build one? Okay?
What?
Right, that's the other question you have to ask. If I get to the Hilton and there's no sukkah there, right, and I want to go to sleep, so what do I do? Do I have to build my own sukkah? Right? Now, what it turns out, this is the other, now let's play another card. It turns out, except for one Achron that brings it as a Havmina, right? As a Havmina. Actually, no, he passes that way, but nobody says, okay, that you be chayiv to build your own sukkah. No one says that. All right, but the question is, why not? Shouldn't I have to build a sukkah if I want to go to sleep at night?
Stupid feel-good clause.
Oh,
No, don't feel good. Yeah, well,
Maybe you expect something to be there, but I don't know.
why should that make a difference? In other words, you see, there's a big problem with going with the easy way.
Oh, because your
Okay?
intent automatically was to sleep in the sukkah. But once you found out that there's no sukkah, you're
Why? But Mimanashach. Again, let's look at this very simply. When I'm traveling during the day, I'm patur from sukkah. Now, what happens at nighttime? When I'm not traveling anymore, I'm chayiv. If I tell you I'm chayiv in sukkah, so therefore, why would I be chayiv in sukkah? Because I'm no longer traveling. Simple logic. So why am I any different than Yaakov? Yaakov is at home, and I'm at the Hilton. So right now, chayav in sukkah implies that we're the same gavra. There's no difference between us. If that's the case, so then if I need to go to sleep at night, who says I'm allowed to sleep at night? I have to go build my own sukkah. So what do you have to do? According to that logic, I should have to bring with me, right, a pop-up sukkah if I go to work.
They
No?
have those things.
I know. See, I know. That's why I brought it in. I'm saying, so what kind of chiyuv is that then? In other words, what you have to ask is, everybody jumps on the easy part, which is that, of course, if I'm in the Hilton, I have to sleep in the sukkah. But no one stops to think about, well, what if there's no sukkah there? And everyone agrees, except for one guy, which we'll define. Everyone agrees that if there's no sukkah there, I don't have to build a sukkah. So then what kind of chiyuv is that?
Well,
What kind of chiyuv, what kind of obligation is that?
But you say except for one guy.
So let's just add one more layer to it, and let's see if we can work out at least Rashi, Tosfos, Sfara. So Tosfos adds one more layer to it. Tosfos says, he says, Holchei Derachim biyom. Tosfos says, Kol zeh nafka miteshru kein tediru. Okay, so all this is learned out from Teshru kein tediru. Shekashem she'adam abeso eino nimna malatzei saderach. Same thing as Rashi. Okay, but he adds one more dimension. V'chein mitztayer. Okay,
no.
he would be mitztayer as a result. Okay, he's mitztayer as a result. Mitztayer means he's like he's upset. Okay, so he's mitztayer. The patrol the el min sukkah. Hainu miteshru kein tediru. Dein adam dar b'makom shemitztayer. So the problem is that some sort of there's the violation of teshru kein tediru is expressed through mitztayer. He will be upset. He will be
Upset to do what? The
If
field
he
goal
can't
clause.
go to work.
You can give me that to the field goal clause.
It's not feel good.
The
It's
Gemara says.
one issue is how do we understand this being a violation of Teish V'Kein Tadira? I understand a violation being that, for instance, you wouldn't eat in the sukkah if it's raining, or you wouldn't eat in the sukkah if it's too hot out there, right? Because that'd be, I can understand. Or chola, those cases make sense. How is it my inability to leave somehow is like Teish V'Kein Tadira? Why does that fit in that category? So that's one conceptual thing we have to answer, and the other one we have to answer is insofar as chiyuv is concerned. But you got to understand why this becomes very bizarre. Okay, let's apply it to practical cases. You guys will like this. Okay, give me an example of a trip. Let's assume you're a business person. Okay, so give me an example of a business trip. What?
Florida jewelry show. Or California jewelry show.
Fine. Okay, so Tamir says he's going to California jewelry show. Okay, so now Holchei Derachim means what? I'm on the road for business. Okay, great. So now Tamir goes from here to California. Okay, this is Eretz Yisrael. That's California. Okay, now you get here. Okay, now are you done traveling when you get here?
No.
You have to travel
Well,
back.
what's that?
Well,
Also, it's the whole thing as one unit.
Is it?
Well, you just said it.
I don't know. In other words, I can understand. So you'll see. I can understand a business trip meaning what?
Going from one place, going from A to B, but not from B to A.
B day means I gotta get back home. How is that?
You want to get back home quicker, so because you want to get home quicker, it's going to be mid-style in a sense.
Oh please, come on! You don't buy that. You don't buy that. No, you don't. No. So, but I'm saying you could develop.
Only with Derek defines any movement towards B or any movement away from A.
That's what you just asked right there is exactly the two possibilities. Is traveling to business mean anytime I'm traveling that's related to the business, which would include home, or is it goal orientated? Meaning once I get to California, I'm chayav now, and that's it. And even though I'm traveling when I go back,
Yeah, who cares about that?
why should we care? Now let's give another nafkamina. Let's say really okay, but again you can go even further. Let's say like you stop in New York. Okay, so if I'm on my way from Eretz Yisrael to California for business, and I stop in New York, so I'm chayav at night, and I'm chayav at night. Okay, now here comes the loopy part. All right, ready for the loop? This is the loopy. This is very loopy.
Like roller coaster.
But the question is, let's assume you did say, right, that when I return home, okay? So let's assume you'd say that returning home, I would be chayav. Okay? If someone could follow this, awesome. Because I was wondering what the guy was preparing with. It took him like 10 minutes to figure out this idea.
Rough indeed?
Yeah. Here's where things get really weird, okay? Let's say,
Is going home considered part of the holiday?
that's the question.
Okay.
That's the question. Well, I'm not sure. At this point, I'm not sure.
Yes and no.
Oh, so you'll see. Well, I'm assuming it's not because a sheet is going to bring up in a second that if you go to a place, where you're a debt collector and you go to town and you're done collecting your debts, you're chayav to go back home. But now, let's see if someone can pick up on this. Okay? If you're
If you're going that's business, but when you come home, it's not really business.
right, but what's problematic about that? What's problematic about that?
Into every time.
Think about it. In other words, one sheet is going to bring down that after I discharge my business duties, right, I'm now chayav to go back home, right? But the question is, when I go start traveling, right, everyone agrees when I'm traveling.
Of that plane trip?
Oh, everyone agrees you're still putter.
Yeah.
What?
Believe that.
No, what are you saying?
Let's say my dad.
So everyone would agree.
Why? Why are you chayav?
That's what the Gemara says. I'm stopped. I'm in New York. I'm on my way to business. I'm in New York, and I stop for the night.
So the Gemara said that's very nice, but why?
We have to explain that. Well, obviously the simple answer is that you're no longer considered traveling. It's only when you're involved in. In other words, the assumption of the Gemara is when am I pater when I'm doing an action of traveling, and when am I chayav when I'm no longer traveling. When I stop for the night, I'm no longer traveling. That's when I would be chayav. Question is, at what point is he considered no longer part of schora? Let me hold off on the loop. David's actually raising a better point. No, I'll give you another example. Let's take David's point. So let's say vacations are bad. Oh, we'll get to vacations later. Hold on. I go from Eretz Yisrael to New York, and then New York to California. So everyone agree when I stop in New York, I'm no longer traveling. I'm chayav. I'm only chayav. Now remember, what's my chiyuv? My chiyuv is if there's a sukkah there, I got to stay in the sukkah. But if there's no sukkah there, I'm not chayav to build one. Everyone agrees. First, just bear with me. So everybody agrees with that for now. I go back on the road. Since I'm traveling, I'm pater. I get to California. Okay, now I'm there. At nighttime, everyone would agree that you're chayav. But what about during the day when I'm actually at work? Because now think about it. Why would I say maybe not? Because if I'm still going to end up going home, see, Moshe, you want to posit this one big trip, right? So even when I'm in California, fine, but therefore you'd have to agree that even if I'm in California and I'm at work, right, I'm still putter. Why not?
It's a whole trip by itself.
I agree. So that's my point, though. If you want to go your way, you'd have to. You understand? You'd have to agree
In
that.
New York, you'd be puzzled too.
But
According
at nighttime.
Yeah,
No.
No, according to what he's saying, it
No,
is,
but you
because
could've-
the whole
no,
thing.
no.
The whole thing is part of one process. So according to what Moshe is saying,
Exactly. You're right.
Even in New York, you should be putter because
Correct.
it's different,
Oh, right. No, I agree. But
which seems to be a problem.
no. But the question is, right? That's why I don't think you can learn that way.
You're
I
100%
Right.
right.
So.
Right. Well, thank you. The way to go is you say no, it's not. No, but the other possibility. Forget the direct. You have to have this in the case, okay? The other possibility is that no, it's not that it's one process, but rather it's two separate, discrete things, right? But then you're going to run into a big problem because now everyone agrees that if I'm traveling on the road, okay, there's a Holchei Derachim, okay, l'schora. If I'm traveling, am I in the process of traveling? Am I chayav or pater from Succa? That's the question. Let's assume now you're pater, okay? But one second. But you're telling me what? You're telling me that I've discharged my business duty, right? I've discharged my business duty.
Is that considered Holchei Derachim?
Right.
So why?
Is it? Now,
Okay, so hang on a second.
now let me get to nafkamina. I stop in New York.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah. Fine.
Now, which chiyuv am I chayav in for sukkah?
Which? Oh, you mean do you have to build one?
What would you have to say?
Yeah, so you do have to.
Oh, right? But no one seems to say that. That's the problem. Would you seem to imply that they hold you're still putter when you're traveling back? It's not a big problem.
Or
wait a second.
for some reason there's an exception about having to build.
When the question you have to answer is, at what point have I discharged my schora?
Everything you said.
Okay, that's what we're gonna have to define. That comes up later. We're not ready for that yet. Okay, so now the question is, so how do we understand Rashi? Let's just stick with Rashi for now, because you need. I've said this before. A lot of times in Gemara, you need what's called a working definition. Okay, and you need you need one main idea that'll allow you to start. You like make one move, and then you start seeing how things open up. So we got to make that one move. And Rashi, with Tosfos' help, is keying us in on that point. What does it mean to say that not being able to go to work is somehow a violation of Teishu Kain Taduru? Meaning that, and by the way, it's not so crazy. What if a guy says, "Listen, like what will people do? What will people do today?" Simple solution, right? Because remember, if you go on a trip for Oneg, if you go to Disney World, how do you handle Disney World? What do? You bring with you bananas and apples and non-mizonos things, right? Or tuna.
Why can't I make this?
Point. It's clear. Not only are you putter, but you don't even have to go ahead and fill up like with a big meal beforehand. Maybe you'll think, before I go to work, what do? I have like a huge breakfast. And this will last me through the day. No idea like that. None. No idea like that whatsoever. It's open halacha. You don't have to worry about that. So the question is, what does it mean that it's a violation of Teishu Kain Taduru? What is that idea? What you're saying is correct, except you're applying to the wrong part. Okay, you're applying to the wrong part. You'll see why. I think you'll see why in a second. But no, what's a traveler?
He doesn't have any opportunity to be a dog. Maybe.
So therefore, what? Okay, so now, but get out of Gavra, because Gavra is really an idea in
He doesn't have
Mitzvah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Mitzvah. So what is this then?
This is
Chetza.
No. If I'm a traveler, okay, let's give an example, okay? If I travel, sad, right? Oh, your father, right? And when I'm a traveler, okay, right? But it's so simple, right?
That's
So
exactly
simple.
what I tried to get away from. He does have a relationship to his house.
No,
That's why I'm saying Social Sukkah. It's his house still.
When I'm traveling, I'm mufla from dira. Okay, I'm no longer defined as living in a house, right? There's no makom dira in my framework, all right? Because I'm traveling. When I go into my cab and I go on my plane, I'm a traveler.
How's that not Gavra?
I'll tell you what. No, because that's not a gavra. It's that there's no idea of a makom dira in my framework. I'm not. There's no dira for me.
How is that not a Gavra?
There's no dira for me. There's no makom dira. If I stay, it means a home. If I stay in a hotel, right? Am I staying in my home? No, I'm staying in a hotel. That's why it's called a hotel. A hotel is a temporary living arrangement.
So if that really was true, then you would also have.
The concept is that dira is mufka from me. The other idea, what's the other idea Rashi's keying in on? That's what you were saying. I was saying Tosa's keying in on, which is what?
You're not a dar.
Right, you're not a dar because you're mitzvah. Okay, so now you have two things here. Now, this is why this will make perfect sense,
So mitzvah is a din of Gavra,
right?
and
And traveling is Dira's mufka from me.
yeah, that's your relationship to the chesed.
Oh, so now think about it. Why does it have to be the case? Because when I'm traveling, right, both those factors apply, right? I'm no longer defined as a dar, right? And there's no idea of dira in my framework. What happens when I stop for the night? When I stop for the night, am I doing a Maisa traveling?
No.
So therefore, can I be a dar?
Yes.
But is dira a reality in my framework?
No.
So that's around that time. Chayv little sukkah. Simple as that.
But then
It's not traveling, and so far as a mice is concerned, I'm no longer Holchei Derachim in that aspect. Right? In other words, if you tell me if traveling is an active process, so if I stop for the night, I'm staying at the Hilton, no one would say that I'm I'm traveling anymore. I'm done traveling. Right? So therefore I should eat in the sukkah. There's a bit star wouldn't apply. But you have to agree though that I'm still in the process of traveling and I'm at home, I'm at the Hilton. So because of that case, that's why you have to make this distinction. The distinction of saying it's a din in that I'm chayiv to be dar, right, in the sukkah, but not chayiv to build a sukkah, is because I'm still in the process of traveling. So there's no reality of dir in my framework. But it doesn't mean I'm not considered a dar. You can't say mitzvah still applies. Mitzvah is only din when I'm actually doing the maisa traveling.
The two categories were dira.
It's the distinction in the chiyuv that is the tell here. Because
Why don't you say it's different chiyuv? Why would you say something is from the gavra? Just say it's
because
different chiyuv.
how could you have a different chiyuv? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Everything seems to fly here. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. No. You're just saying that because you're frustrated because you don't understand the idea. We know because we know it says chayav v'sukkah, but all of a sudden you'll see when we'll do it tomorrow. But it says, but you're not chayav to build a sukkah. But what do you mean? If I'm chayav to sleep in a sukkah and there's no sukkah at the hotel, why? If I'm like every other person, if I'm no longer a traveler, I should be. So you have this newfangled thing. So now you have two possibilities. Either you're going to tell me that there's a whole new chiyuv for this guy. That's one possibility. Or you say no, there's no new chiyuv for this guy. It's just that the question is.
Always been a chiyuv in the gavra.
Right, and once he stops for the night, you can't say he's in the state of mitzvah anymore. He's not traveling. He stopped for the night. He's got a nice bed. He's not traveling anymore. But the question is he part of the process of traveling? Meaning, is dira still mufka from his framework?
How is that chiyuv in the gavra? How is mis? All right, never mind. All right.
Why is there no chiyuv in the door?
Yeah.
But no. Maybe. But the case again, just to clarify, just to make sure it's clear. Okay, the normal idea of mitzvah emerges from the sukkah. Right, that's one situation. Like there's bugs in there, or I'm not feeling well, and the sukkah will cause me more pain. Meaning, it's always about the sukkah causing me pain. Like being dar in the sukkah causing me pain. What Rashi is suggesting is that the inability to be noheg normally outside the sukkah is also a source of mitzvah. That's Rashi's chiddush.
It's a good idea.
Okay, so now I'm happy you endorse it. But mitzvah is always a din in. Here he's saying is that mitzvah is what's a din in
So I'm gonna give a gavra.
gavra.
I don't know what that means.
It's meaning that mitzvah here means that I want to be able to do my maisa dira.
No, I get what the idea, but what is a gavra? Why would you say it's in gavra?
I'll tell you why. Because you're going to have to run into the problem by the case here of chiyuv. That's why you're trapped. Because here, if that were the case, so what should happen? The normal way to approach this is that to say, okay, well, I leave my sukkah. I'm Holchei Derachim, I'm pater, and when I stop traveling, what am I now? I should be chayiv again, and it shouldn't matter if the whole thing I'm saying before shouldn't make a difference. What I should say is I'm no longer defined as a traveler. So no longer defined as a traveler, then how can I go to sleep at night?
Of course you're defined as a traveler. You're not your house.
So he's not.
I know, but
so he's not.
again, either you're going to say that I'm chayiv in sukkah when I stay at the Hilton, right, and that would mean that
Which is why.
because I'm no longer traveling. I'm stopping for the night.
Actively traveling.
Right, I'm stopping for the night. I'm no longer a traveler. So if that were the case, then what would I have to do?
Just ignore our first
Just
part.
just listen. If that were the case, then what would I have to do?
Build everything. Build a sukkah.
If there's no
the whole
sukkah,
9 yards.
the other way to go is to say that no, that I'm still traveling. But if I'm still a traveler, then I'm pater from sukkah. So what does it mean I'm chayiv in sukkah when I stop for the night? That's the problem. Either way, if you go to the two extremes, you're going to run into a problem. So what I'm positing is the solution to that problem. You're chayiv midin gavra because you're no longer mitzdayer, but it's because you're in the process of traveling.
Slow down. Yeah. Okay. I need to get the idea.
Okay, so you're chayiv.
because
I'm no longer mitzdayer. When I stop at the Hilton, I'm no longer defined as a mitzdayer. That's sorry for me anymore because I'm stopped for the night. I'm not traveling.
It's not sorry for you to do what? It was sorry for you what before walking.
The tsar emerges from my inability to leave my sukkah. Did I leave my sukkah when I'm Holchei Derachim?
Yeah.
Right, so that's the Torah emerges from that. Once I'm traveling, I'm pater from sukkah. Once I'm traveling, I'm pater from sukkah.
No, that's really like.
Once I'm traveling.